This meeting of the Watuppa Water Board will come to order. Mr. Earl, if you call a roll, please.
President Pearson,
Present.
Member Ferreira,
Yes.
Member Pennell.
Yes.
At this point, we'll read the open meeting law. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present, deemed acknowledged and permissible. First item on the agenda will be the minutes of the previous meeting, to which, Mr. Furlong, I have a question.
Yes.
There was a couple of questions on the agenda the last time pertaining to whether or not we needed the law department to look at the one item that was in question, if you remember.
Yeah, so it was, we do have that Ben Water agreement, which we're still asking the law department for their opinion on that. We haven't gotten that from the law department yet.
Thank God he works for us and we don't have to pay him.
Yeah, and that was asked during item number 2. So if
Right.
you look at the minutes, it's labeled there.
Are there any other questions pertaining to the previous meeting, which was March 25th, by the
Negative.
commissioners?
No.
Mr. Fennell?
Negative.
Okay. Is there a
I would
motion
make
to
a
accept the minutes of the previous meeting?
Second.
Oh, no, just.
President of the board will vote yes. Therefore, the previous meeting is duly recorded. Second item on the agenda will be abatements.
Within your
If
packet,
you would.
yep, within your packets that were provided with you by email, there is abatements, total of 6 of them since the last time that we've had abatements on a meeting. The total of the 6 is in the amount of $2,197.65. You do have the individual evaluations within your packet as well.
Mr. Furlan,
Yes.
since we put the new meters in, that includes all of these addresses too?
So as you know, we have about half of the city done with the new AMRs, which is the boxes on the side of the house. New meters is going to be about 10% of the city, but we just started that process prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. And once the pandemic started, we've halted that process just due to for the safety of our residents and the safety of our workers.
Okay, I'm not sure that answers the question on all these streets, but one in particular, the last item on North Ogden Street,
Yes.
it looks like the proposed resolution is $283.92, which means
Correct.
the water bill had to be excessively high. I got a phone call on that. I'm sure you did too.
Yes.
Is there any way we can have that meter checked?
So we could have, anytime that a property owner wants to have a meter checked, they have the right to do that. If the meter comes back that it's within AWWA standards, we do charge the customer for testing that meter. On that particular item, there was a clear 12-day high water usage that we could see with our new meter system. It was a point in January where the usage just spiked up over a 12-day period, extremely high, and then went back down to its normal usage. Again, I don't know whether it was a hung up toilet bowl flapper, something like that could have potentially caused that leak. And that's the leak, the water usage went up, the leak occurred, the water usage went back down to normal. We were able to prove that through our metering system and our software, and that's why it went back down. The reason that it never came up on one of our leak reports is because of the short period of time that it was done in. leak reports are set for a longer window of time to pick up over a 30-day period and give us a report. And it comes out in the report after a 30-day period of a continuous high use. That's why this wasn't picked up in our leak reports.
You spoke to the homeowner?
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else we can do for them?
This is following the guidelines that have been set by the board and the city council through the abatement policy. So which means that you take the water and sewer bill and you take that bill. So you have your average bill averaged over 4 quarters. That's where we get our average from. And then anything that's over that average, we give them 50% abatement of 50% of that amount. That's what's been set by the board and also the city council.
Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of these look excessively high. When they get to a certain degree, is it automatic that we shouldn't send somebody out there to at least look at these meters? Maybe because they're brand new, maybe they're not quite, what we're expecting, or maybe there's a fluke.
Yeah, so I can tell you, that one, that particular address doesn't have a new meter, doesn't have a new AMR. Pine Street, that doesn't have one. Quikasham does not have one. The new meters through the meter replacement program we started in the far south end, the southwest corner of the city. Lane Street.
Yeah, Lane looks excessively high too.
Yeah, I don't believe that has a new meter. So there's a couple of different things here. So with our meter replacement project, we have the meter that's in the basement. That's what actually reads the amount of water that's used.
Right.
Then there's the meter head, which sits on top. So if we're going in and we're replacing the meter head or the meter body, we replace both the head and the body because they're pretty much attached. What we've been doing and we're going to be doing all citywide, the plan is we replace just the radio box on the outside of the house. So that's the gray box that's on the outside of the house. All that does is take the reading that's read from the meter body and the meter head and just sends out a signal. So if the meter body and the meter head says 10 CCF per, 10 CCF has been used, it just sends that signal out. There's no real calculations or measurements or anything done with the AMR box. So that just sends a signal out. So if we're replacing just the AMR box, it's not that there could be a misreading or something wrong with the reading or the accuracy of the meter. When we change just the radio box, all it is pretty much the thing sending out the signal that it's getting from the actual meter. So that's why, to say that is, any type of issues with the meters, the new meters that are going in, the new meters that are going into all of the places are the T10 meters, Neptune T10s, which we've been using for many years within the city, and we've had great accuracy with. The large meters are the ones that we're replacing citywide, which was a total of about 800 or so large meters, and that's 2-inch and above, and none of these large meters. I hope that answers some of your questions.
Well, it does, but I'd like a phone call at least be made to at least those 2 high users, Lane Street and North Ogden.
Yes, not a problem.
If we could please explain that, because I know you spoke to them and I still got a phone call.
Yep.
Maybe we do need to send someone there who appease them a little bit and hopefully explain it even better. I know we're short-staffed right now, but please do.
Yeah, no, definitely. I will give them a call. Our policy so far related to the COVID-19, we haven't been making entry into anybody's house unless it's an extreme emergency.
Right.
As per the governor's, recommendations and CDC recommendations. Coming in the future, we're going to have to see how those get relaxed, so we may be able to start to enter houses.
Because that particular homeowner on North Ogden, they had spoken to a number of other people who were in their same type of business, if you would, and they've got numerous complaints to many people. So I think it's something we need to look into, if you would, please.
Yep.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda,
If we could just have a vote on that roll call.
I'm sorry,
President Pearson?
yes, with an addendum to at least have it checked out, please.
Yes. Mr. Pennell?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrer?
The motion is to approve the abatements?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda, if you would, Mr. Furlan, item 3, page 20 loan order.
Item number 3 is the Phase 20 loan order. As most of the board members know, we've been going through and following these phases almost every year for the past 19 years, 20 years. We are up to Phase 20 this year. Phase 20 is a loan order in the amount of $4,858,085. This includes a couple of different things, as you can see within the summary. Water main replacement, which this year does have a substantial amount of water main replacement. We're also looking for some electrical upgrades out at the Copacut pump station. That's a pump station that pumps water from the Copacut reservoir into the North Watuppa Pond. Some funding for street paving on streets that have been affected by the water main replacement. Some money towards watershed protection for conservation and water treatment plant security, as well as water treatment plant filter media rehab. The streets that are proposed to be rehabilitated during the Phase 20 project are Bowler Street from Quarry to Carlessa, Carr from County to Keene, Coolidge from Hemlock to Weedamo, Dean from Alden to the Dead End, Notre Dame from St. Joseph's to Pleasant, Pittman from East Warren to Webster, Provost from Pleasant to McGowan, Quarry from Pleasant to Hargraves, Renard from Kennedy to Powell, Reuben from Quarry to Quikasham, Roper from Hearst to Smithies, Ryan from Brayton Ave to Omen, Webster from Alden to Pleasant, Waybosset from Pleasant to Wamsutta, Williamson from Cambridge to Warren, and Atlantic Boulevard from Pembroke to Title. A lot of these mains are late 1800s, dating back to 1881, or the early 1900s. The most recent main on here that was installed is on Coolidge in 1923. So we're looking at replacement of those mains through this Phase 20 water main upgrade. This has been something that's been going on for a long time. We have made great advances within our water system over the past 20 years. Going from highly tuberculated mains, water tanks that were in great need of rehabilitation, and a plant that needed some upgrades. We've been able to do many things. This continues on that project. We have been approved for SRF funding for the water main replacement. What that does for us, it gives us a low interest loan of 2% on about $3.5 million out of this loan authorization. There's also within there a principal forgiveness that's given to us because we're an EJC community. So they forgive a portion of that loan. The principal on that loan varies from year to year. We've seen it as high as 33%, as low as 10%. In the past couple of years, it has been around the 15 to 18%. The one thing that I'm looking at this year would be any potential additional funding that comes out of the COVID-19 pandemic. We do, there is talk of additional federal money coming down to aid infrastructure projects, which if we have a shovel-ready project like this, it puts us right in line to be able to have that funding available and used towards these projects.
Mr. Ferland, the water pipe that burst on Rock Street on 1 January,
Yes.
is that the same sort of a project? Or I thought we had said we were doing all of Rock Street.
So we're doing Rock Street this year, this summer, from Bedford City Hall area all the way up to Prospect Street. From Prospect North has already been replaced.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners?
No.
No, thank you.
Mr. Ferland, we need a vote for approval.
Yes, we would need a roll call vote for approval.
Please do so.
Is there a motion in a second?
I'll motion.
Second.
It's unanimous.
President Pearson,
Yes.
Member Pennell,
Yes.
Member Ferrera.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 4 on the agenda is the water meter upgrade project. If you would, Mr. Ferland.
So the change order that you have in front of you is for Thelch Engineering. They are the contractor that's doing the meter installs and AMR installs on the water meter replacement project. There was a couple of small unforeseen conditions that they've come across during the installations. So these are things that had to be done during the installation process. So that we're coming back to the board. The two particular things, the change order is in the amount of $9,506.72. The two additional changes that needed to be made when they were installing a water meter at Durfee High School, the existing Durfee High School, in a section of the high school that's staying. We only replaced the meters in the section of the high school that's going to be reused and not the part that's going to be demolished. They installed the meter, but then on a Sunday, there was a leak. The leak was caused no fault to the installer, but they did send people out to respond to that leak. So we will be paying them for the time. It was 4 hours overtime, very reasonable, and they were excellent with their response time. The other thing is on property Troy Hill Estates, where the meters are located and where the AMRs need to go. There needs to be some additional wiring run from one portion of the building that's outside the contract install. They came back with I felt extremely reasonable quote to do that work. So I'd like to have them proceed with that additional work once the project starts back up. So again, that's a change order in the amount of $9,506.72 to Thelch Engineering.
Are there any comments from the commissioners?
No.
No.
Oh, Mr. Ferland, you know how I feel about change orders. However, I'm not accusing anybody of trying to circumvent the bidding system. But when we finally look at the total amount, rather excessive. And was there one at the Troy Hill Estates where somebody had bumped into a meter?
That was Durfee.
Oh, that was at Durfee?
Yep.
And there was no insurance on that?
No, there was no insurance.
I mean, if somebody bumped into it, was it a private car or one of our trucks? Or?
Nope, it was a school department employee. Again, Thelch responded. They made the repair that was out there. Again, it was a cost. It was related to the meter. It was due to a school department employee bumping the meter and causing the leak. But
accidents happen.
Yep.
Is there a motion to accept the report?
Motion.
I believe that's unanimous, Mr. Furlong.
Okay. President Pearson?
Yes,
Roll call vote. Member Pennell?
Yes.
Member Ferrer?
Yes.
item 5 on the agenda is other business. And I have one question for you, Mr. Furlong. I believe it was 2 months ago, we had talked about the same class we had on mosquito control. And I know I've tried to call the number for the mosquito control
Yep.
person on the state level, and we can't get through. Are we still working on that, please?
Yeah, definitely. That's something that I do have on my list of things to do. Due to the pandemic, I would imagine that they've been like the rest of the state with a limited staff coming in to respond for emergencies or essential personnel only. So, but I would imagine if movement restrictions are lifted here in the near future, that we would be able to move forward with that.
Well, as you know, I think we try to stay ahead of things, but
Yep.
what I'm worried about is mosquito population coming on board for the upcoming warmer weather. Right now, I don't believe the cold weather is going to allow for it, but as this weather turns, it will certainly become a problem. And with people being out of work, we find more and more people walking around the reservation on the main roads. And I don't think we want to look forward to that sort of a pandemic. So I think we need to at least try to get somebody down here and explain to the public what's happening.
Yep. Definitely.
Are there any other comments from the commissioners?
Uh,
No.
Hearing none.
if
Is
you,
there a motion to adjourn?
you could
No.
if you could
I
for a
think
second.
Paul has another item that we received earlier today.
Yeah, there was something that I emailed you out to you earlier today that I just wanted to discuss under other business. About 3 meetings ago in front of you, there was a lease for water tanks for the police department to be able to put a microwave antennas on our water tanks. Once that lease agreement was sent through the law department and vetted through the law department, they recommended that the lease turn into an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, because it's 2 municipal departments. Terms have stayed the same through the whole entire agreement. The only thing, rather than calling it a lease, wherever it said lease, it now says MOU. No terms have changed, no conditions have changed. I just wanted to bring that to the board's attention, and I expect to forward this over to the police department and execute it so that they can move forward with their installations.
Are all commissioners understanding what's going on with that? I believe you are.
Yes.
And then there's
Is there a
just
motion to proceed with them?
There's just one other thing that I just wanted to bring to the board's attention too. We received an open meeting law violation of our last meeting, stating that the meeting was, stating that the item agendas were too vague, and also that the meeting was not live recorded. I have drafted a response for the person that has submitted the open meeting law, and I will be sending that out to that person, and then I will CC it to the board, and then also have it on a future agenda. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. I do not feel that we're in violation of anything. I feel that the agenda items were specific enough for a common person to understand the intent of what was going to be discussed, and then also in relation to violating the executive order, releasing some of the open meeting law requirements that Governor Baker has instated. I believe we were well within our rights to not have our meeting broadcasted live and be recorded by Fall River Government TV and then posted on its normal place of posting as soon as practicable after the meeting. That's what the executive order states, and that's what we've done and will continue to do. So I just wanted to make the board members aware of that, but I will submit you once I finalize my response. I will submit that for you for review on a future meeting.
Are there any questions?
I don't have
None. Is there a motion for adjournment?
motion.
Second?
This meeting of the Watuppa Water Board is therefore adjourned. Thank you, Mr. Furlong.
Thank you, board members.
Thank you.